Hi guys, it's Victoria Ashley and welcome back to my channel. So first off, I want to say a huge thanks to everyone who's left me such a kind and encouraging comment in my last video. Thank you to those who shared your stories with me. They were really so helpful, they were so beautiful, so inspiring, and it really just helped me feel less lonely. So I'm really super grateful and thank you so very much. Now, for those of you who don't know, I am going through a breakup, and so for the past couple of weeks I've been focusing a lot on healing, on how to heal, and one of the ways that I have been doing this is through shadow work. Shadow work is basically acknowledging your darker sides of your personalities or maybe even feelings, things you may have pushed away because they're considered negative or bad or not healthy, or anything that you just try to push away or suppress. It's getting to know those feelings and thoughts, pulling them to the forefront, acknowledging them, and learning how to accept them. So shadow work is really important, especially if you're learning how to, love yourself, on a deeper level, because with shadow work, you're learning to love all sides of you, not just the parts of you that society deems acceptable or you have deemed as acceptable. So I thought I'd make a video to sort of share my experience with shadow work and to share some tips and tricks, as well as an exercise that I started off with. So with that, let's get started. So the exercise that I started off with, I found offline, because upon beginning shadow work, it could be really, overwhelming because there's so many ways you can start and begin. But this exercise I found, and I thought it was very doable and very simple. So with that, let me explain it. So this exercise is basically to just take one evening and write down a list of all the things that you don't like about yourself. And if that's hard to do, you think of qualities that you don't like in other people and write that down. The reason why you can do that, why you can look at other people's qualities, is because oftentimes the qualities that you don't like in other people may be qualities that you don't like in yourself. So after you take the time to write out this list, you rank all of these qualities from most important to least important, and then you start hacking away at the list and writing about each and every single one of them. Now, this is a really cool exercise to start off with, because you're going to just right off the bat realize some things that you probably never knew about yourself, or find out feelings that you never knew that you had about yourself. Like you're gonna learn. So it's really just, I think, a really cool and easy way to start off with your shadow work. Now, I know that this can seem very overwhelming for some people, so if it does seem like an overwhelming exercise to start off with, I suggest modifying it in one of these two ways. Number one, you can just start off with one thing that you may not like about yourself if having a list of things is too overwhelming. Or two, you can start off with writing a list of qualities that you don't like in other people. It's something you can modify, so just remember to check in with yourself and see how you feel. Now, as for my tips. Tip number one, be as honest and truthful as possible. So with shadow work, you're basically creating a space for yourself to be as truthful as possible, to take all of the feelings and all of the thoughts that you're suppressing and acknowledging them, putting them at the forefront. So don't push anything away. If you have a thought or a feeling that comes up as you're journaling or speaking out loud, say it or write it, okay? Because this is your space, this is your time, and being truthful is really the essence of shadow work. That's what's going to help you get to a more deeper understanding of yourself. So be truthful to yourself. Don't filter. No. Tip number two. With shadow work, I developed this new self-awareness where I'm more in tune with the thoughts or the feelings that I may suppress throughout the day. So my tip here is to just really turn on that awareness and to really be aware of when you're trying to push something out of your head or push a feeling away. Because ultimately, those things that you're pushing away is something that needs to be unpacked. So in my case, if I see that I'm pushing something away, I take a mental note of it, or I write it I write it down in my notes app on my phone, and I revisit it later in my journal. Be aware of those things, okay? Because shadow work doesn't end at like that time you give yourself for journaling. It's a process that continues throughout your day. Now, my tip number 3 and my final tip. There is no right or wrong way to do shadow work. I know that in the beginning it can be overwhelming because there's so many resources, so many articles about shadow work, so many exercises that you can start off with, but I say just maybe find an exercise if the exercise I suggested doesn't work for you, but find an exercise that you can use as a jumping off point. It's not the end all be all. Shadow work is something that you can continuously modify to suit your style and to suit your needs. You really just have to take it day by day, step by step, and really understand yourself and how you're feeling throughout this journey and modify it to that, you know? Still be truthful and still do the work, but also understand how you're feeling throughout the process and modify it according to that. You don't need to go at anyone else's pace. You only need to go at your own pace. So just go with the flow and really feel it out and understand that this is your space that you're creating, your space that you're creating to learn more about yourself. It's just like, you know, when you're getting to know a person, there's no rules on how to learn about someone else, you know? It's different for each person. And in that same way, it's, you know, different for yourself, and you just gotta feel it out. So those are my tips and tricks with shadow work, especially if you're a beginner. Please let me know down below if you have any tips or tricks, because I'm always on the hunt for tips and tricks because I'm still sort of a beginner at this. You know, I'm still trying to like figuring my way out through it. So yeah, if you have any tips or tricks, please leave them below down in the comments. Would love to know about them. Please remember to subscribe, like, comment, share. I would so appreciate it. And you know, I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.